I think, and when you think about everything and what Adrian said, Rick said, I mean, everything's mobile. I mean, that's really where we're going, right? And so I was state government for 19 years. I was a CIO for the last 14 before I came to for probation in South Carolina before I came to Intel, or McAfee at that point, now Intel Security Group. Right. And what we realized is that everything had to be mobile because the enablement of the tip of the spear. You know, basically, how many secure minutes can you give an end user a day? How do you enable that? And so it was really difficult when you think about it, because oftentimes, you know, the minute you got into that situation, it was no, we don't know, you can't do this because of this. And so what we kind of learned and what Intel's pushing is it's not no, it's so here's what I understand you want to do. We know this is where it's going. So if you begin to secure everything, like Rick was saying about, you know, everything ending up being mobile, you got 100% permeation, then everything becomes that baseline at that point in time. You know, you have to standardize where you can, and that's the interesting aspect about moving forward in a standards perspective, but there is going to be that part where you can actually, whether it be a mobile phone or it's a notebook, everything ends up being mobile, even data centers are mobile. And Adrian sees that I'm sure, on quite often, the data center has to be mobile. When you think about things that are really enablers for that going forward and stuff we've been working with, FirstNet, you know, huge enabler going forward at some point in time for those types of things. Next generation 911, all of these things are kind of coming together, and they're not reinventing the wheel when they're doing it. And I think that's the key. Yeah. So from our perspective is that how do we go through and look at everything as an Internet of Things? Right. You know, everything is mobile. Everything is dispersed. Everything is, you know, we have to eat the dirt at the edge, you know, to make the ecosystem stronger.
Right. We're actually adding Internet of Things as a subject for a future show, because it's becoming such a hot topic. People are interested in. I was even saw demos the other day of drones carrying around LTE, temporary LTE towers, which you can move networks all over the place where you didn't have communications before and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and when you think about it, Adrian, the way they've done this is amazing, because now they can actually pick up and put down, you know, wherever they need to. And so once you've consumed that, and it becomes part of that DNA, as you know, in the ATF and what you guys are doing, then all of a sudden now you become so much more agile. Right. So the things that used to be impediments to what Adrian and Rick are doing, now people just assume it, right? Absolutely. And now as they iterate on that, they become much more progressive in how they think about things. Right. They're no longer thinking, I need to get to a desktop, or I need to get to somewhere. Even, you know, you just change the culture. Right. Once you change that culture, it's standardization of that type of information interchange is so important. So what we're seeing with like threat streams and being able to standards transfer information from DHS amongst all the different federal government, DoD, this type of standard interchange, like Intel Security Group, we have something called DXL, which is the data exchange layer, to be able to actually exchange this data in real time. That's very important to being able to raise the profile, to know where those risks are, so you don't have to say no or get really paranoid about that situation. Again, it's not one size fits all right there. Right. So I think we have to get out of the mindset of freezing up the minute people says, you know, the minute that mobile gets out of there. And there's some agencies that are doing it right, and some need to be pulled along with that.
Absolutely.